Hey, Brad, welcome back to the show. Super glad to have you here. What's your protractor tip for us today?
So my tip for today is time change orders. And let me explain that a little bit more. I've touched upon this in the past, but one of our big assets as a company, I should say, or one of the something that we use, a resource that we have, is we have change orders that are $0 change orders that just have to do with time delays. And they can be weather delays, they can be delay days from the manufacturer for product, or they can even be by our client where our client has delayed making a decision for interior doors. You know, we've spoken about critical path in a project before, and if the customer is doing things to delay that, even if it doesn't affect my critical path, I will have them sign a change order that's a $0, that's maybe a 5-day time delay. So at the end of the project, if there's any dispute saying, hey, Brad, you promised you'd be done by Thanksgiving, and now it's the second week of December, I can reference these change orders and say, look, we had these signed, we documented them months ago to show you why this was going to be delayed 5 days. So at least, there's not that finger pointing at the end. We can have a healthy conversation where they're aware of the actual moving schedule. There's no cost to them, but at least emotionally and mentally they're prepared because they've signed that time delay change order.
And the main reason for that is for a paper trail or like documentation all along the way.
Yeah, because it's a lot of things. As a builder, we know the things that are delaying us. We know the things that are causing us headache behind the scenes. But most often, we do not relay that to the customer in a proper way. And they have an expectation like, hey, I need you to finish by this date, even though I didn't make the decision on X, Y, and Z when you needed it. It's a way for us at that time to say, look, we needed this decision by Friday. You gave it to us the following Friday. There's a 5-day delay. And so it just is a much more healthy approach where it's documented, and not that, maybe some of us may have contracts where there's liquidated damages. We've been fortunate to hit our, schedules, but it also protects you against something like that. If you were in some event where legal's involved, you have something that's been signed and approved, notified, to protect you at that point.
Makes a lot of sense. I mean, at first it's like, man, why do we have to do so much paperwork? But then on the other hand, it's at the end of a project where you have a legal issue that you can't have too much paperwork.
You can't, and it's so easy. Like, we use Docusign, that's our process, and so we can upload quickly. We have a template, we'll put in 5-day delay, send a Docusign. It's usually signed in 10 minutes, because everyone has their smartphones. And we have it. It's there. It's one of the 40 change orders on a job, most of which are dollar rated, but this one is just time rated. And it's in the closing docs, when we go to escrow or whatever, however we close out the project.
All right, Protractors, there's a couple tips for you. One is time change orders, but also he mentioned Docusign. And we highly encourage on this show that you find ways to use technology to improve your systems and processes. Thank you so much, Brad. Really, really appreciate it.
Thanks, Martin.